So you clicked on this video because you want to overcome addiction. Maybe it's coffee, maybe it's nicotine, maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's whatever it is. But you're probably sitting thinking, I'm done with this, I want to get over it, I just need to know how. And you've come to the right place. So the principles I'm about to share helped me quit nicotine, helped me quit weed, and helped me stop scrolling. To the point where now I don't really do anything that's not productive. Maybe an hour a day, maybe. But these principles work if you follow them. So the first thing I need you to do is study yourself. And you need to start recognizing the patterns that you go through. So after it's happened, after you've scrolled for 30 minutes, after you drank a shit ton of coffee, after you've taken 8 Zyns today, sit and think, what urges did I feel? When did I feel them? And start to ask questions. Why did I feel it at this time? Why did this happen here? Because the thing with addiction is it's something rooted in our brains. Our brain operates on a reward-based system. We call it the dopamine system, where we learn to crave things that give us a reward. So what's happened in your brain is you've been addictions are very rewarding. TikTok is very pleasurable, whatever the drug is, whatever it is very rewarding in your head. So we've trained our brain that is the most rewarding thing we can do. So we need to start feeling like this to get us to do that, to get the reward. So what we need to do is break that cycle. And the first step of that is recognizing when we get the urges, why we get the urges, what's around us, what we're feeling like. Just start to take notes on it. Start to question things. But in those moments when you're, if it's a very strong addiction, it can be very difficult. It's hard to question it in the moment because you're like, I don't want to question it right now. I just want to do it. So when you're in those moments, because now you've recognized when those moments are, and there's a saying, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So if I'm just sitting here in my chair and I'm looking at my phone, but the phone is I want to stop scrolling. Well, if I have nothing else to do, I'm going to end up just scrolling, right? So instead of just getting rid of a habit, we need to replace the habit. And so what we need to do is shock ourselves into this new habit. So say I don't want to use my phone, I want to read a book instead. So what I need to do is just shock myself into it, say, no, I'm reading. And don't even think about the phone. Don't even look at the phone. Just open the book and start reading. And you'll get better at it. But it's that shock of when I get this feeling, I don't get that reward anymore. So you're retraining your neural pathways to say, this type of thinking, this feeling doesn't get me reward anymore. It'll be difficult at first, and sometimes you'll relapse, and that's why you need to start celebrating the micro improvements. So if I looked at my phone and I shocked myself into the new habit, I was able to read for 1 minute, and then I fell back into my phone and scrolled for the time that I would have scrolled for. What people would tend to do is now they would still have that negative self-talk, and so they're going to be much more likely to fall back into their old habits because they're not rewarding themselves for that 1 minute of reading. But what we need to understand and we need to grasp our heads around is that 1 minute of reading was one's more than zero, right? So that is improvement. And so we need to reward that improvement. So instead of being extremely negative after we've just improved, we need to think of ourselves higher and track the results so that we can keep getting better and better. So now the next day I read for 2 minutes, next day I read for 3 minutes. And then eventually you fast forward a month or two out and I don't look at my phone anymore, I'm just reading, right? So there's other tips and tricks, there's other different methods, but I think this is a good place to start. So I hope this helped.